You are not going to believe what Will and I found at an estate sale today. Look, it's all Jim Shore. Hello, I'm Lex with Dead Gentry Collectables, and today we are looking at some beautiful Jim Shore pieces. See if you can see that tag there. That William and I picked up at an estate sale this morning. We worked extra hard. We got up extra early to be there first thing. So we get up at 7, out the door by 8 so that we can be there when they open. And it really makes a difference because we were able to get all of these lovely pieces from the same place. And they were actually all half off because it was like half off day, which is something estate sales do. The last day of a sale, everything will usually be half off or even more sometimes. So I figured I'd make this, since we got so many incredible Jim Shore pieces, I figured I'd do a wonderful Jim Shore video for you today. So this goose, for instance, known as Lady of the Lake, we've actually sold her 2 or 3 times from the shop before. I say her because it does say lady. Oh, look at that little, it's a bit of a little Avalon reference there. If you can make that out. There we go. 2003 Jim Shore. So Jim Shore actually founded Heartwood in 2001 with Enesco. So it was when they came together. That was when Heartwood Creek was founded. This piece, measuring maybe 7 inches tall, is worth about $48. And we've recognized that price multiple times from our shop. Now, let me say this. When people are looking at these pieces, which are made of resin, they're made to look like wood, but they are resin. When people are looking at these pieces on sites like WorthPoint and stuff, this is something, whether you're a reseller or a collector, because collectors, I suggest get WorthPoint accounts as well so that they can look and see like how valuable their objects are for insurance purposes, but also, what they should be paying, what a regular market price is. When you go and look at something like this in a site like that, they will range all the way from $12 to, $60. So it's really good to know that its actual price is around $48. Plus shipping, plus handling. I guess it depends who you're buying it from, whether or not shipping is included. Like on our little Etsy shop, shipping's included for free, which means that it's actually bundled into the price, but then discounted, like heavily discounted. So you actually get a bit of a deal, quite a bit of a deal. But so not including things like shipping and packaging and things of that nature. But it's always amazing to me that so many people undersell their collection, and that so many people also will pay up quite significantly, possibly more than they needed to sometimes. So it's really helpful to know what a good evaluation for these pieces is. And even if you're not a reseller, even if you're a collector. And we know a lot of collectors, like the ones that have bought this little goose from us for its actual valued price, that know what the piece is worth and are willing to pay that price and are happy to not short the price because they don't want their collection devalued over time. So that's something else to keep in mind. So don't think, I always have to discount something by 50% or more in order to get it to move. That's simply not true. And sometimes you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and you might be shooting collectors in the foot a little bit as well. So just something to think about. This I'm going to call Skinny Santa. Will was calling this Ozempic Santa earlier because if you look in comparison to our large Santas in the background here, this one's much skinnier. This piece is worth about $40. Let me show you the base here again, if I can make enough space. He's very tall. Just in case you might be looking out for some of those numbers, 1176470T. This is a 2004 piece. Maybe your piece, the base is scratched or it's lost its tags. So now you know all that information about it, also the value. So Jim Shore, very interesting. His grandmother was a quilter, and you can kind of tell that from all of these beautiful pieces that I'm showing you. So grew up, I would say, in the folk art movement in South Carolina. That's where he's from. And he's done these incredible collaborations with Disney, Peanuts, Sanrio, Grinch, and more, right? And just done fabulous work. This is a fabulous piece. Will was saying that out of the ones we picked up today, this was his favorite. And I think it's because of all the different little figurals, and it's very three-dimensional figurals, like this little boy who's actually got both of his arms and legs, which is just wonderful. So this piece, little old lady who lived in a shoe. Let's see if you can make that out there. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. Guess she did know what to do. It's really adorable. This piece, $40 plus shipping, actually probably closer to $50 plus shipping, depending on how many are available on the market at any given time. I've seen these go higher. Again, sometimes people wildly underselling them. I might have to set this one down just so we can have enough room to move these others around. What else can I tell you about Jim Shore? When you're hunting these pieces in the wild, bigger pieces, taller pieces there's my favorite, that goose again, do tend to go for more money. So size is a variable of value when it comes to Jim Shore pieces. But the more detailed pieces tend to be worth more as well. And then certain collaborations, like especially a lot of the very highly desirable Disney pieces, can be worth more. Jim Shore has this wonderful website where it talks about his history, you know, his artistry. And then in the website, along with his beautiful art, he has what he calls Jim Shore Cafe on the website. You can go look it up right now. I'm not even kidding. And it's his little website, and he does little like vlogs, little blurbs of recipes. So like right now he has a banana caramel pie recipe that he uses. That's on his little cafe that he just puts out there for everyone. I think that's charming. I think it's the most amazing thing. So I can tell you that about Jim Shore. This piece here is actually called Over the Fields We Go. So based on A Christmas Carol. It's holding a little toy sheep. This one's heavily carved into to make it look like wood graining effects. Absolutely beautiful again. This thick boy Santa, kind of chubber Santa here with this beautiful quilted coat. You're looking at $50 each, again, plus shipping, things of that nature. But $50 each for these larger Santa pieces. As you can see at the estate sale, they were $18 and we got them half off. So, and what was more incredible is these were all in a hutch. No one was buying them. It was the last day of the estate sale. I dread to think what would happen, or what would have happened if Will and I hadn't come that day. There was a lot of beautiful things in this home that no one was purchasing, even though they were at incredible prices. And very often we've seen this happen, especially with estate sales. If a inheritor doesn't live in state and there's a bunch of things in a house and they're having an estate sale business sell all these things for them, even at prices like this piece is worth $50, $18, then half off. So, you know, think about that. But it's worth so much more than that. But if we hadn't bought it, I didn't see anyone else showing interest in this lot of Jim Shore pieces. And very often they end up in the garbage. I hate to say that. Or sometimes they all get shipped to, we have seen beautiful things end up in garbage cans in front of people's houses when estate sales end. And no one's bought them. Or sometimes all shipped off to Goodwill, which unfortunately usually means the pieces get very, very damaged, because Goodwill tends to just throw everything in these very large plastic bins. Pieces like this would just not be given the respect they deserve, and they would get scuffed and scratched and likely broken and ruined. So it really does pay to go to estate sales. That's one thing I want to say, but also you can find these things in the wild. You really can. They are out there. You can get them. Will and I are more than happy to, this one's called 2x2 because it's a depiction of Noah's Ark. Just wanted to point that out. I really like the little fish that aren't forgotten there in the ocean. And you can see Noah with his wife and the little cats sitting inside there. Just very, very adorable. Santa helping them out. But we're happy to get up at 7 a.m. on a 103-degree day in California like it was today and go to an estate sale that has pieces like this, because we're willing to do that legwork to bring collectors these pieces from our Etsy shop. We know a lot of people really like Jim Shore. I will actually go out of my way very early in the morning, even on difficult days where it's very hot or very long distance. For things like Venetian and Murano glass, that's another thing, certain pewter pieces, because we know collectors love them. We try to keep them in the shop as often as possible. So we're more than happy to do that kind of, you know, early morning, what would you call that, early birding? Like when you go to a yard sale or garage sale very, very early, so you're the first one there. We're happy to do that, to bring these things into the shop. But you can also go find these things. They really are out there. The amount of times I hear people say, oh, you can't find this at a Goodwill. Maybe not in this condition, but you can find it. For this piece was $30 at the estate sale, and then it was half off, so $15. This turkey, if you go look this up on replacements.com, I think is at $260 for this Jim Shore turkey, and I'm not sure theirs come with the original tags from Enesco on there, or the boxes. So that's, you know, they are out there. They really are. I just have to point out, one of the things I love about Jim Shore, if you look at this piece in the round, you'll notice the double layering effect of these feathers in the back that have been carved into the resin. Again, these are resin, not wood. They fool a lot of people. I love that. And I also love that these almost look like California poppies on this vine. I think they're orange tulips, but they kind of remind me of California, the state flower. But just absolutely beautiful. And see, from the front, you can't see that double layered ruffle. So just a beautiful piece in the round with all that attention to detail. And this piece definitely would look incredible in the middle of a Thanksgiving table. So it can be viewed from all sides. So that's something to think about. Because even someone who's maybe seen it from over here is now getting to see that. Just very nice piece. Not from replacements.com. I'd say anywhere from $78 to, you know, $85 on a piece this size without its box. With its box, a lot of these pieces, collectors do like to have the boxes as well. With the tag in place is wonderful. That helps value. But the boxes as well to store them seasonally. This piece was actually in a hutch. You can see the dust there that collected in the hutch. It wasn't boxed. But it's easier to put them away and store them and not damage them if you have the original boxes. So some collectors do look for that, and that can raise the evaluation a little bit. Other beautiful things. What else can I tell you about Jim Shore before I end this wonderful little tutorial video? A very expensive Jim Shore piece is the Cinderella Castle. That was a Disney collaboration. That's worth about $3,000. I will definitely put some slides in at the end of the video with some pieces from different runs that he's done, just so you can get an idea. These are all much more vintage. These are all from that 2001 to kind of 2006 range, these pieces. But there are newer pieces. You can go buy new pieces by Jim Shore, brand new from Disney right now. They are very expensive. Even small, like 6-inch 626 stitches from Lilo and Stitch. Pricey. But you can go buy them brand new, but these do happen to be vintage pieces. These will all be in our shop very shortly. But I will definitely put in slides so you can get an idea of what some of his more modern work looks like as well. And like, here's another example. I don't know if anyone watches Froggy Flips. I watch Froggy Flips because, like, this is what we do, and I just find his channel really charming. He kind of started in, like, selling electronics years ago, and now he's all about vintage toys, and he's kind of so famous at this point that he's on other people's YouTube channels as a guest, like, showing off his toy room, which is just incredible. I love that for him. And I really like that his kids are in the videos sometimes. Like, you see little cameos of his son, Elliot, sometimes. But if you're into this sort of thing, and this is just another example, he was out at a yard sale, and there's an episode, and I think you could probably keyword search this. He found a Disney Villains castle that's worth $1,000+ at a yard sale. And I think don't quote me exactly, but I think they were asking like $20 for it. And he didn't recognize it because he didn't know what it was. He knew it was good, but he didn't know what it was, right? He took interest in it, but he didn't know Jim Shore visually. And he got them to like bundle it and drop. He even asked for like $5 off. He was like, would you do 15 or something? And they dropped the price on this $1,000, you know, it's a Grail Disney piece. It talks, it laughs, it lights up, it's Jim Shore, it's got all the Disney villains all over this beautiful castle. And he got them to drop the price down to 15 or less or something. You can go watch this video in real time. Not only that, I remember screaming at the television when he picked it up and put it back down on the table because he almost didn't buy it. because when he picked it up, you could see that it was signed. And that's something that usually is like cast only, members only. Sometimes Disney after hours will have certain signing events with artists, but it's very difficult to find signed pieces, and that's highly collectible, raises the value, just amazing. And I remember just like yelling at the TV, like, no, don't put that down, right? And he did end up buying it, which was great. But that's just another example. Like, I don't know him personally. I've never even messaged the guy. I just love his channel. I'm like, go watch his channel. It's really fun. It is. It's really fun, especially if you're into vintage toys. And we do a lot of vintage toys, like in our Whatnot room and in Mercari and also in the Etsy shop. So I'm right there with him. But if you go watch it, you will see you can find something like that. He found one at a yard sale and got them to drop the price. So it's not even just estate sales where if you go early in the morning, you might find things like this. It's also at yard sales. These things are out there. You can find them in the wild. They are incredible. And now, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I include some slides just to give you guys some more information about values and visually. So you kind of, know what to look for and can enjoy some more beautiful Jim Shore. If you like these videos, please hit like and subscribe. It really does help us, and it really does, we really do appreciate it. Like, it really does matter a lot to us. Every time we get a new subscriber, we kind of cheer. We do a little dance. Okay, I'm gonna add those videos now.
As promised, here's some of those slides. So this white jack-o'-lantern that has some beautiful carved bats, $80. The Disney tradition lines, especially the rarer pieces, can get quite valuable. This I put in because I love the Haunted Mansion. I love the Hitchhiking Ghosts. For all the Sanrio fans out there, I had to put in a Hello Kitty so you know what that looks like. This is an adorable vintage throwback to the cartoon, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Snoopy with boba. I love boba tea. I drink it every day in California, probably too much. The Peanuts gang. My uncle would love this one. He loves Woodstock and Snoopy. And then here's another beautiful jack-o'-lantern. I threw this one in for Will because he loves Day of the Dead sugar skull art. This is a very large bunny. He holds a lantern. It got a little cropped off in the photo there. And this is the Tower of Fright I mentioned from the Froggy Flips video. Keep an eye out for that grail. Disney fans love these two pieces. Cinderella's Castle of Dreams as well.